If you want to understand my insanity, then you need to know what is sane and the difference in between. Here's a video that I'm watching today.
In the 1950s, a weapon was invented that has become more powerful than America's deadliest weapons of mass destruction. It is the weapon of mass deception, and it is right in our own living rooms. The hypnotizing world of picture television brings us the news of the world through two central news agencies called Reuters and the Associated Press. The Rothschilds bought Reuters in the 1800s, which later bought the Associated Press and made the Rothschild family owners of the world.
This is from In Time Productions. I love their channel.
World's largest central news services. To the present day, the world depends on these Rothschild-owned central news services as their main source of news and information. In his book called Who Owns the TV Networks, author Eustace Mullins claims that the major TV networks, radio stations, newspapers, and publishing empires are controlled by the Rothschild, Rockefeller, and J.P. Morgan money cartels through their corporate conglomerates. The bankster-owned media conglomerates include weapons manufacturers General Electric and Westinghouse, which profit from promoting wars. Control over the internet, publishing, recording, and top cable companies can be traced back to the same big five media empires: General Electric, Time Warner, Viacom, Disney, and News Corp. These media monopolies are owned directly or indirectly by the Rothschild, J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, and Oppenheimer Brotherhood. Yes, there are now more stations and more media voices, but they're all coming from the same ventriloquist.
Scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
Yeah, you know the rest.
You scream, you know the rest. I scream, you
All the
scream.
same narrative.
Well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream. Well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, we all, well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, we all know the rest. I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
The plan is to create an apocalypse that will exhaust and depopulate the masses through deadly designer viruses, global terror, economic disasters, and nuclear war, when the remaining survivors will gladly embrace the promises of a handsome, charismatic new leader who will unveil his plan of hope for eternal world peace. He will sell his peace plan by telling the world that border wars will only end by creating a world without borders. Religious wars will only end by creating one world religion of interfaiths. Economic wars will only end by creating a cashless, debt-free society. Rivalry wars between rulers will only end by creating one world ruler. The tools used for war, from handguns to nuclear bombs, will be eliminated, and one world army will be created, which will guarantee world peace.
Yeah.
How will this eternal peace plan be accomplished? Through the United ruling families. The UN is their vehicle for world government and is located on 18 acres.
Yeah, get your ass over here, bitch!
Land donated by the most visible of the ruling families, the Rockefellers.
I'll try not to be too intoxicated by the time you get
The
here,
UN
but
is a closed
I started like an hour
organization with
ago.
no public records or open meetings. U.S. taxpayers have already invested $2 trillion in this world authority. Although most of the people working for the UN are genuinely working for peace, the UN is a godless organization controlled by a Committee of 300. These inbred ruling families pretend to have royal blue blood, but their blood is no more blue or royal than Hannibal Lecter's blood. Some speculate that these families of evildoers are demons or aliens or evil shape-shifting reptilians, but there is a more scientific explanation for their madness. For thousands of years, these families have practiced inbreeding between sisters and brothers, uncles and nieces, mothers and sons, to keep the power and wealth all in the family. This
All
practice
in
of
the
inbreeding
family.
over thousands of years has produced a clever but pathological breed of conscienceless,
you get a
sociopathic
boat to move?
families who will stop at nothing
You got a
to
boat
want
to
every
move?
ounce of gold, every drop of water,
What?
and every blade of grass.
I'm moving a
on the
boat
planet.
now? I better stop drinking.
The United Nations, which they founded and controlled,
I heard about
has
pushing
clearly
cars,
stated
but
its
moving
purpose of
boats?
establishing
Okay.
a new world order, a UN standing army, and a global taxation system. The Queen's husband, Prince Philip, and Evelyn Rothschild have
It's
already
not her
established an interfaith declaration for the creation
That's her
of
cousin.
one world religion.
That's not the Queen.
In this world empire,
Look at her. That's
one
not-
world religion,
Actually,
one
that's
world
the
army,
original
one
Queen.
world
I beg
economy,
your pardon. That's the
one
original
world
Queen.
court, one world media, one world government, and one world dictator. What the public
The
doesn't know,
dictator. The first part of
peace
your
on
thing
earth
is
will be
called
a
dick.
forced peace in which citizens will have no rights. No right to bear children without approval, no right to travel without authorization, no right to own private property, no right to privacy, no right to bear arms, no right to protest, no right to receive an inheritance, no right to choose an education or a job or even a place of residence, and worst of all, no right to live. The right to live
Yeah,
will be based
yeah, no
on
right to live.
individuals' rating of usefulness to
That's
the
great.
royal elite. In this planned world without borders or nations, citizens will be disarmed of all weapons, including handguns, and will have no means to protest, fight, resist, or challenge this one world authority who will control them spiritually, economically, and militarily. Every human being will be electronically tattooed and will become helplessly dependent on this one world authority for all of their most basic needs.
The jab.
The masses will eventually be taught to bow down and worship this one world dictator who will rule the entire world from his eternal throne in Israel.
They have waited for him. They believe in him. They expect he will heal the world's ills. Some say he is the Messiah, final return. But this man is not a savior. He is the king of terror who will usher in the end of everything.
Despite all the red flags, many people deny that a problem even exists. It does exist, and the good news is there are solutions. The solutions lie in knowing what the three biggest fears of the world's ruling families are. The first biggest fear is exposure.
Exactly. You know, your salvation and your faith and all that other fucking crap has nothing to do with the Bible. God doesn't want you to come next to him and be under his realm, because you're not going up to his realm, but under his realm to be stupid. So the whole idea of faith and hope and all that other crap is just ridiculous. We're not here through our works that we're going to, be saved and all this other crap. No, it comes through knowledge. Knowledge.
Gone to great lengths to cover up their trail of crimes and to win the public's trust through their media monopolies. Without public trust, their ancestral plan for global control is doomed. Their second biggest fear is losing public support. If the public stops cooperating, their plan is guaranteed to fail.
Which is doing.
Their third biggest nightmare is organized resistance by an informed and fearless public.
An informed and fearless public. Exactly. God doesn't want you to come upstairs and be like, what's going on? No, he wants knowledgeable and the fearless, the brave.
The ruling families know from past experience that the will of the people can defeat all their military and monetary might. Vietnam is a perfect example. There is no doubt whatsoever that these ruling families can be totally defeated by turning their three worst fears into a reality.
I think people need to wake the fuck up and realize what the fuck's going on as well. And if they don't, then, you know, there is a polar reaction there. I mean, there is a polar. There can't be anything other than man, woman, black, white. It's all polarization. And I got a really good video. But I'm gonna put it on. All the shit I watch, man. While you guys are fucking like moving grass, moving fucking soil, I'm fucking watching this shit going, what in the fuck? You know what? You know, I don't even care if, like, you know, like, people are like, oh, you're a big dummy. You're just like now learning all this. Okay, so give me that. Let me be sheltered all those fucking years. Don't be a cunt. Man. This one I was watching the other day, man. It was fucking awesome. Human cloning. That's pretty good. Check this out. Oh, come on!
Just spent $5.
You know, I paid to not have these fucking advertisements, but here we are.
I'm Jorge Rivas, and you're wondering. So here's a list of animals that have been cloned. Not on that list, humans. Yet. So just how important is cloning technology? And should we be worried about evil clone armies in the future?
Cloning has played a role far larger than I think it's likely to play in the future of science and medicine. The money, the ability to do something useful with cloning is probably over on the research side.
No, not works, okay?
That means cloning
Hello,
creates
NASA,
stem
Eliza.
cells that can grow into replacement
No,
organs.
not works.
And while that's pretty cool, science
Walter.
fiction likes to take it one
Okay,
step
first
further.
of all, let me stop. God did not put us here to fucking work, okay? God put us here to fuck and to worship him. That's it. What part don't you understand? We are not work slaves. We are not slaves.
Hollywood is absolutely in love with the idea of human cloning. They can sort of use it as the archetypical villain. Cloning fears play on a couple of things. They sort of challenge our notion of uniqueness and individuality. They also sort of raise the issue of, well, how much of who we are can be duplicated or replicated or manufactured.
Like TVs or alarm clocks or cell phones or Pop-Tarts. Hey, look what I found. But even if a cloned person was created, that doesn't mean it would be an exact copy of the original.
We're not merely the kind of automatic readout of our genes. We should think of our genome as a
See now that's a lie. Because when you clone something, it is an exact replicate. That's a lie.
diary that has been written upon yet.
Which means that you, version 2.0, would have a very different set of experiences than the original you. Why are you dressed like that? I was at the pirate bar. They made me an honorary pirate. Arr. Is this thing still rolling? Where are you going? While some groups claim to have cloned human embryos or even delivered an actual cloned baby, there's no proof of it.
Any effort to try to make a baby by cloning, given the
Yeah, hang on a second. So now there's this company, it's called Clonaid. Hang on.
Why are you dressed like that? I was at the pirate bar. They made me an honorary pirate. Arr. Is this thing still rolling? Where are you going? While some groups claim to have cloned human embryos or even delivered an act.
So Clonaid is an actual company that pioneers in human fucking cloning, okay? They're cloning people.
cloned baby, there's no proof of it.
Any effort to try to make a baby by cloning, given the very, very high probability that the baby's going to be seriously abnormal, is just completely morally.
Okay, I hear you saying,
Both Murray and Kaplan
Walter.
support
Yeah,
that
like
cloning
not
for
we're not
reproductive
shoveling
needs, but neither think that
shit
ban should extend
for
to stem cell
fucking whatever.
research. So is there
We're
any
worshiping.
chance we'll actually see a human
We're here to
version
worship
of the sheep?
and to
a
fuck.
breed that can really be developed safely without death and deformity in animals. If that happens, then we might see someone try to clone a human being for, to have an offspring in 30 or 40 years.
Even then, Kaplan sees reproductive human cloning as a red herring for more pressing bioethical questions on the horizon.
I think what we need to be worried about is efforts to improve, enhance, and optimize human beings, either by putting technology into them or by changing their genetic makeup. I think we have much more to worry about with cyborgs than I do clones.
So great. So instead of huge evil clone armies to deal with, we'll just have to worry about cyborgs.
Yeah.
To get our business up and running, we got the Chase Business Complete banking account.
Yeah, I bet you did. Shut the fuck up. So hang on. There's one that I watched the other day that I keep wanting to watch it over and over and over again because it's flipping amazing. Hang on. I know I put it on. This playlist. Hang on. Look at all the shit I watch, man. I'm not sitting at home watching fucking TV and fucking all this other crap. I'm sitting here trying to learn and decipher what is true and what is not true. Because it's really hard. It's really hard to decipher it. Were the founding fathers fucking Christians? No, they weren't. Not one of the founding fathers was fucking Christian. They were deists. Deists. I may be saying it wrong, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Don't be a fucking asshole. Look at this scumbag. I just got a picture sent to me through a friend of mine that has, Ghislaine Maxwell and Trump and Trump's wife and that black model Satanist. Yeah. And everybody's like, oh, that's a cool picture. Really old. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what you consider old, but my consideration of old is like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Not fucking yesterday. Who wrote the Bible? That's a good one. Who wrote the edited Bible? Because it was edited. 200 scriptures were taken out of the canon. And many books were taken out of the canon. Why? Because they don't want you to know the truth, man. They don't want you to know. Hang on. God damn, man. All the shit I watch. Holy fuck, dude. What? Oh, this one right here. Is it this one? Tree life. Oh, that was a good one. The real queen of Sheba. What a fucking scumbag fucking King Solomon was. What a scumbag.
The survivors of the catastrophe
Shut up. How long is this shit?
who were inside Earth's moon.
Oh, that was a good one, though. You guys are fucking... You don't have the attention span to watch what I watch. Or maybe you do. Who knows? Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. It basically says through the History Channel that Moses was not fucking, killed by, random fucking fighting. He was killed by his own people. Hang on. Oh, is this one? I'll tell you what, man. Sometimes I watch shit and I'm like, God, I wish somebody was watching this with me. Who cares? Oh, here's a good one. Here, watch this shit. I am like an idiot.
There is little doubt that someday the ice will return. At least 8 times in the past million years, it has advanced.
It's 1978.
Clockwork regularity. If we are unprepared for the next advance, the result could be hunger and death on a scale unprecedented in all of history. What scientists are telling us now is that the threat of an ice age is not as remote as they once thought. During a lifetime of our grandchildren, Arctic cold and perpetual snow could turn most of the inhabitable portions of our planet into a polar desert.
In 1977, the worst winter in a century struck the United States. Arctic cold ripped the Midwest for weeks on end. Great blizzards paralyzed cities of the Northeast. One desperate night in Buffalo, 8 people froze to death in marine cars. Pat Bushnell was on the road that night.
Traffic just absolutely stopped. I was afraid of being stuck in the car all night long with the cold and the wind, running out of gas. And then what? I think that if we had to go through a real bad winter, just like we just went through, I think we'd have to think about moving someplace else.
Move where? The brutal Buffalo winter might become common all over the United States.
This is in 1978 that Spock was promoting that we are coming into an ice age. But if you look at history of our climate, we're actually coming out of an ice age. Okay? So buck up, fucking buttercup.
Climate experts believe the next ice age is on its way. According to recent evidence, it could come sooner than anyone had expected. Weather stations in the far north, temperatures have been dropping for 30 years. Seacoasts, long free of summer ice, are now blocked year-round. According to some climatologists, within a lifetime, we might be living in the next ice age. Of the 9 planets in our solar system, only Earth has conditions favorable to human life. Our existence depends on a delicate balance of climate. Despite our modern technology, we are vulnerable to the winds of weather and environment. Blanketing large areas of the Earth's surface, great storms are among nature's most frightening.
Listen to the music that they put behind this shit. Listen to the music.
Uncontrollable tempests make us aware how fragile life on our planet really is. The comfortable cycle of spring sowing, summer growth, and fall harvest is, in terms of long history, abnormal.
Remember those old
Only in the last 10,000 years has Earth enjoyed continuing warmth.
faucets,
Because of
water
this, our population
extensions?
has exploded to 5 billion people.
I do. I guess I'm old.
For most of the last million years, however, whole continents were buried by ice. As recently as 18,000 years ago, a mile-thick sheet stretched down from the Arctic Circle and covered what is now Seattle, Chicago, and Boston. New York Harbor was choked with ice floes. Winters were cold and snowy, down to the Gulf of Mexico. All that remains of the great glaciers
Yeah, it's cold
that
winter.
covered North America are the ice caps of the Canadian Arctic. If the ice spreads over the continent again, it is here on Baffin Island in northern Canada that the mysterious process will begin. We look to this lonely outpost.
Baffin Island has always had extreme coldness. So to utilize that into a broadcast is just ridiculous. But I'll continue on because this asshole, Mr. Spock, Dr. Spock, whatever the fuck you call him, is going to say, and he terrorized people in the 70s, the late 70s, saying that what is going to happen will affect all the way down to like Texas. That we're all going to die because of the cold. We're all going to die. Yeah, we're all going to die. Bullshit.
Of a new ice age. Straddling the Arctic Circle, Baffin Island is a harshly beautiful wilderness. It is
Look at this!
California, but not one tree grows on the entire island. The only vegetation is the stunted plant.
You're like, it's larger than California. California is not even on the these are two different climates.
Of the tundra. Most of the inhabitants are Inuit Eskimos, whose ancestors migrated west from Greenland 1,000 years ago.
And now we're coming to find out that that's not even true. That they were not immigrants. Well, I would call them immigrants from Iceland. They were actually native to that land.
Today, the island is poised on the brink of ice age conditions.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
A critical signal post for changes in the Earth's climate.
Oh, so pretty.
According to geologists, the last major ice age began on Baffin Island 115,000 years ago.
How do you know? Were you around?
Spread southward.
Were you there?
The weight of many years of snow compressed into ice.
Yeah.
The ice grew thicker until it covered Canada, the northern United States, and Europe to a depth of 2 miles.
What do you mean move a boat? What do you mean move a
100,000
boat?
years, the ice remained over large areas of the continents. Then it retreated to the Arctic, and for the last 10,000 years, we have flourished.
You're moving your boat?
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half trip down bay to where it's going to come out of the water. Remember we talked about this?
I know we talked about this, but I didn't consider it was going to be like a 90,000 fucking degrees still out. What's the temperature outside right now?
It's cooled off a lot, and it's breathing on the water.
So we're going to be on the boat the whole time?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to come with you.
Did you want to come with me?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, see, what? How long? How long? What?
I don't know. I'm pretty close to you.
You're not in any hurry though, right? I mean, like, you're not like.
No, we got to get the boat underway before it's dark.
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm saying like you can give me like 10, 15 minutes, right? Though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Come over. And I'll go with you.
Shit, I'm on 34.
Where are we moving it to, babe?
Ocean Gate. Where are we?
Wait, I know Ocean Gate. Where's Ocean Gate?
It's on Barnegat Bay, so.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How far away from Wall Stadium? Racetrack.
Wall Stadium, I'm probably like 45 an hour away.
Okay.
That's where you're moving it to?
No, I fucked up. Got off the wrong exit.
You're so cute. All right. Where are you?
Not really sure.
It sounds like my life. I'm not sure where I'm at either.
Alrighty.
Pass my phone where the fuck I am.
Yeah, do that because I don't know where you're at and I can't give you any kind of sense of direction.
Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Gonna fucking go take some pictures. Let me fucking charge my phone up. Go move a fucking boat, man. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go fucking move a boat. Fuck yeah, man. Fucking love my friends.
In a warm interglacial period,
Let's go move a boat. Hell yeah.
our planet is crowded. What will we do when the fragile balance of climate shifts from today's abnormal warmth and the next ice age begins?
Hell to the motherfucking year.
Present warm
Let's go
interval
move
in.
a fucking boat.
And the best answer to that probably is
I'm
that
probably gonna sit there and
it has in fact
do
already
nothing.
Because
my friend is
right here on Baffin Island.
smarter than me.
Dr. Gifford Miller is a glaciologist from the
But
University
yeah,
of Colorado.
fuck yeah.
He's been studying the
Already
climate
helped
and
my buddy
glaciers
out.
of Baffin Island for the past 6
Or at
years.
least watch.
For the last 2,000 years, the summer temperatures have been getting colder, and the amount of precipitation, rainfall, and snowfall has decreased, so that the conditions have been drier and colder. And at the same time, the glaciers have expanded. And the most recent expansion, which occurred between 300 years ago and the turn of the present century, the glaciers attained their most extensive positions that they had during the last 8,000 years.
How the fuck would you know? You were around 8,000 years ago. Shut the fuck up.
The ice never melted that summer. And when I returned to Broughton Island, one of the local settlements here, talking to the Inuit people, and they could only tell me that their fathers had told them of a time when the ice hadn't gone out.
This once-in-a-lifetime summer ice has surprised old-time Arctic residents. Ernie Siebert is superintendent of Baffin Island National Park and has lived in the Arctic for over 20 years.
We had, in 1973, we had ice all over the East Coast. The fjords, some of the ice in the fjords didn't even leave. And almost every year since, we had ice moving in and out of the fjords. So it looks like the climate has changed. It looks like it turned colder.
Since concern for our weather has increased, the park wardens now take daily records of temperatures, wind, and solar radiation. Weather data from stations all over the Arctic is collected and fed into central computers. Balloons are launched every day to monitor the winds and temperatures at high altitudes. The data shows that average temperatures in the Arctic have fallen dramatically over the last 30 years. In most locations, the drop has been about 2 degrees
Should have
centigrade.
warned me this morning, though.
At that rate,
Bad memory.
the descent to ice age temperatures could take less than 200 years.
I don't have a bad memory. I have bad friends.
It is not only the lonely Arctic that is cool. The whole northern hemisphere is growing steadily colder. In Greenland, the snows of centuries have piled up on the largest ice cap in the northern hemisphere. Scientists have recently discovered evidence of a climatic catastrophe. Drilling down over 1,400 meters, geologists have collected precious samples of ancient ice. Some of it fell as snow, over 100,000 years ago. The ice is shipped south, where it is kept frozen at minus 35 degrees and carefully divided up for study. By separating out the two forms of oxygen in the ice, scientists have been able to chart the temperatures when it fell as snow. Near the bottom of the ice cap, they found traces of widespread freezing occurring with dramatic suddenness. Dr. Chester Langway is chairman of the geology department at the State University of New York, Buffalo.
We have evidence from the ice core studies that approximately 89,000 years ago, the global climate changed from one of greater warmth than today into one of glacial severity. It is possible that a tremendous volcanic event occurred, shielding the sun, cooling the Earth's temperatures, and thereby providing the explanation of the advancing glaciers. The significance of this catastrophic event is that within a 100-year period of time, that the glaciers could have re-advanced over the surface of the Earth. It is possible that we may enter into such a cold climate almost instantaneously in the very near future.
If the climate does suddenly cool, will we survive the change? 18,000 years ago, Manhattan Island was buried under a mile of ice. When the Hudson River flows today, there was a huge glacier. Pack ice filled the ocean off Long Island. We're only beginning to understand the cyclic history of the ice, but evidence is mounting that another ice age is due. The most persuasive data comes from beneath the sea. The research ship Vima sails the world's oceans, taking samples of sediments deposited long ago. A crew of scientists rig a long cylinder and drop it vertically to the ocean floor. The cylinder dredges up mud from the seabed in the form of long cores. The types of tiny fossils found at different levels in the core shows the sea temperatures of the past. Geologists have collected enough sea cores to form a detailed history of climate during the last million years. The cores are analyzed at the Lamont Doherty Geological Laboratory at Columbia University. Dr. James Hayes leads the research.
The climatic record in these deep sea cores tells us that there have been 8 ice ages in the last 700,000 years. It also tells us when they have occurred. This provides us with a test of various theories of the ice ages. We now have a theory that tells us that changes in the shape of the Earth's orbit act as a pacemaker for the ice age succession. Since this theory can precisely predict when ice ages occurred in the past, which can be tested against these deep sea cores, it also can predict when ice ages will occur in the future.
Shut up, you can't predict anything.
From this
That's
theory,
why it says
we can say with
predict.
confidence
Because you're a
that we are
predict.
currently heading toward another ice
You know,
age.
In the winter of 1976-77,
You can't
one storm after another
dictator.
buried the Northeast under record amounts of
Predict.
snow.
You're a dick. You don't understand.
Months of brutal cold made much of the nation seem like the Arctic. In Chicago, temperatures hovered at 19 degrees below zero. Dayton, 21 degrees below zero.
Woohoo! It just did that a couple years ago.
25 degrees below
And
zero.
some fucking black guy ran around and said that he got
Places,
hung by
provides the
white
best lesson.
supremacists.
That unfortunate city had 44 consecutive days of snow.
In our conclusion, that was a lie.
Thousands were forced to abandon their cars and seek refuge from the storm. Some who didn't were found frozen. As the storms continued, the resources of government were strained. Snowplows had to be flown in by the Air Force. Even the National Guard couldn't keep up with the unrelenting snow. Just how long can a modern city hold out when whole regions
Yeah, that just happened, remember?
and fuel?
You don't remember?
When the weather turns on us again, how thin is the margin between
Look it up.
life and death? When the snowfall finally stopped, downtown Buffalo lay quiet and deserted. Businesses remained closed for weeks. The airport was unusable. There was no way to reach or leave the city. The mail could not go through. Supplies of food and drugs ran perilously low. Ambulances could not reach the sick. For the old and infirm, it was a time of pain and misery. Suppliers of natural gas had to put emergency plans into effect, cutting off thousands of users. Electrical utilities ordered temporary blackouts. Fire engines froze in the sub-zero cold. In the suburbs, strong winds piled the snow in drifts as high as 30 feet. Many people had to enter their homes through second-story windows. No matter how much snow was cleared, fresh storms brought in more. Snowmobiles, the only viable form of transportation, were pressed into emergency service. Pat Bushnell remembers how the Buffalo storm began.
Terrible. It was the worst winter that we have ever had around here. When I left work, knowing it was bad, but still thinking I could get home, gone maybe 3 miles from work and realized that the roads were closed at that point. You couldn't walk. The wind coming right off the lake at that point, it's right in downtown Buffalo, was so brutal that you just couldn't walk. So I sat for a while, just sat and waited in the car. And finally, realized that it was hopeless. The thought of freezing to death, that's kind of frightening. My worst fear at that point was the children.
My fucking mother was caught in that shit.
That was the biggest worry. To go through that every year.
She was
just
living in
wouldn't be worth
Maine.
the fight. And it's a fight. It's a real fight.
500,000 workers in the United States were laid off because of fuel shortages.
She said that
Hundreds died of
the
illness
snow was so
made worse
high,
by the
it was
cold.
up to the roof of her
And the storms continued
house, the bottom roof of her house.
in jeopardy for lack of food and fuel.
Guess what?
The experience of
They got over it.
1977 leads us to imagine the disaster the future might bring. In the descent to an ice age, one severe winter would follow another. Eventually, the snows of Buffalo would never melt. Increased demand for heating fuel would trigger an energy crisis beyond anything we can imagine. Winters in Dallas and Atlanta
This spot.
were cold
Yeah,
and icy.
anything we can imagine.
Like in Southern California and Northern Florida. The people of Mississippi and Alabama would have to contend with old-fashioned New England winters. Icy winds would sweep the Kansas wheat fields. Colorado's summer grazing lands would resemble the Arctic tundra. In California, glaciers would advance from the Sierra Nevada toward the fertile San Joaquin
Yeah,
Valley.
none of this happened,
Production
so.
would plummet. Prices would soar out of sight.
Okay, you're an idiot. None of that happened. Fucking idiots. Check this out.
Wayfair has everything I need.
Shut up.
Oh, cozy. Sometimes.
I mean, like, do y'all understand that they put this shit right in our face.
This is wrist flex.
What's up, y'all? It's Wrist Flex, and welcome back to my channel. Today is
She
Tuesday,
promotes me,
August
I
2nd,
promote her. She's
2022.
awesome.
This October, The Weeknd is partnering with Universal Studios to bring a nightmarish-inspired haunted house. Next Halloween in 2023, Universal
You guys are all
Studios is planning to
scumbags.
release
You don't want
a
to learn.
trilogy of the Exorcist
You don't want to learn.
movies. They joke that, quote, the
You
demons are
don't
coming
want
back
to
out to play.
learn.
And just 6 months
Just
ago,
wanna
an
fucking
investigative
fuck with me.
reporter uncovered insider details about this movie.